But as I say, I've just really badly miscalculated this. There are several winning moves in this position. For example, G5 or Rook E8. So here's an example, or even Knight E5 check. So Knight E5, then here, say, this is winning as well. With the idea of Knight D3. So say here Knight F3 or Knight D3. Knight D3, White King. The White King will get away. Actually, there's a mating free with check here to protect the D pawn. Check, mate. But it requires some good calculation skills, and I don't think I was up to it. I mean, I should have played this because I let my advantage actually slip. So this would have been all over. Another idea, G5, just winning F4, just winning the Queen, very straightforward, G5. So this is why I've rejected though Rook G4, because I didn't see it clearly in this position. I felt, did I need to play a Rook sack? But it's actually the right thing to do. If we go back to this theory of timing punches and punch preparation, and as I mentioned in my previous video, about accurate calculation, when to throw the punches, when to go for the knockout blow, it's all to do with accurate calculation. So if you possess it, then Rook G4 is an accurate move here, offering up on the plate the skewer, Bishop E2, to play the Rook sacrifice. Rook takes G2. This is a product of accurate calculation. But I played Rook G3, the tamer move, and now after Knight E2 again the Rook sacrifice presents itself on a plate. So here this would have been winning. So check, again this check to stop the king running, check for example, and I'm just winning quite easily after Bishop takes F1, and then again this familiar Rook F6. So twice there I'm missing the knockout blow, and as a result of this inaccurate play, the opponent's starting to get back in the game now. I played Rook G4, he plays Bishop E4. So there are ideas now of Bishop D5s and G3s and other stuff. So I played Rook H4, he plays check, and now Knight G3 in fact to stop Rook H1, and his pieces are getting nicely centered, and he's doubling up his rooks on the F pawn. But in this position, there's apparently a nice tactical move, Knight E5. So it's exploiting again this pin on G2. So if takes, Rook takes F3, and if Bishop takes, then Queen takes G3. That would have been fine as well. But no, I didn't spot that. I played Bishop D7 because I was a bit wary about Bishop C6s and Queen D4s, so I was more concerned about this. So Rook A F1, and he's starting to really get back in the game. But at the moment, still I have a significant advantage in theory. So Rook H6, Knight E4, and again there's an incisive move, Queen H4. I think I was just very, very tired or something, because the bishop's stopping Rook H3. So say Knight G5. Now Bishop G4, and again it's dangerous. In fact, Queen H2, no, yeah, Queen H2 is also good. Just winning maybe. No, not winning F4, not yet. Rook H4 though, attacking F4 even more. Here it gets tricky though. Sorry, this game is a bit of a labyrinth of variations. It does get tricky. Knight F7. So this position is equal apparently for some reason. What's going on? So even though I'm material up, the rooks are pretty good. Yeah, so it's a tricky position now. It's becoming trickier with his pieces centralising. So Queen F5, Knight G5, but he's getting a bit in time pressure. But he's also now regaining his pawn with B4 because now this A3 is dropping off. But then as a result, his rooks are not so finely tuned up on the king side, perhaps. So C6. And here I was getting optimistic again after Knight E6 because I felt if he takes, then I'm back in the game with an advantage. So say Bishop takes, and I'm on C4. Again, I'm threatening Queen H4. That would be quite rosy. But no, he didn't do that. He played Bishop D3. Really annoying. So I can't play Knight takes G5 exploiting this because his bishop's now protecting F1. So Rook H4. And here I start drifting actually after Rook H4 to White's much better again. Better move than Rook H4, maybe just, well, Ripper's given Queen D8. But anyway, so let's see, G3. So my Rook is just out of place now, and I'm not even a pawn up anymore. So Knight E4, Queen moves, now just Queen G2. So he's got a nice defensive posture now. His pieces are nicely in the centre. His rook is a bit cut off on this side, but it might invade later. So C5, I wanted to try and at least get this bishop on diagonal, but he closes that up. So White's better again. G6. So with this, I introduced this idea, Knight G7 to F5 to E3. Optimistic idea, because he just harasses my rook now. Bishop E2. After Rook H3, I'm inviting the move he played, Bishop G4, but maybe Rook A7 is technically much better, with a big advantage to White, almost decisive advantage. In fact, if Bishop C8, now Bishop G4, and the rook's kind of trapped on H3, not good. This would be completely lost. So I mean, a hair's breadth of getting completely murdered here. I mean, he plays what looks like to be a murderous move anyway. I thought it might be inviting Knight takes F4. I thought he might have missed something on this, but it enters a period of randomness now. This game, a lottery. I played Knight takes F4, and he just takes on F4 because after Rook takes, he had planned Rook check, but Rook check's not the best. Apparently, just taking on H3, and that's a clear advantage for White, no problem. So say takes, he's just going to be a piece up for nothing. The key point is the Rook on A3 stops D3 here. In the variation that he played with Rook A8, D3's quite a bad threat to deal with. So he played check, and now he took this, and I noticed to my horror here, I felt I was going to be okay, but then I noticed, hang on, if Rook takes G4, which I thought, I was intending, then I just, at the last minute, noticed check, deflecting the king, protecting the queen. So this would be better for White. Even though I'm picking up the knight here, Queen G5, White's better. So I played the best practical continuation, just to go bishop down now. I took his queen, because his bishop will be temporarily interfering with Rook D8 to stop this pawn, and I can also push the pawn without it being snapped up by the Rook on A3 because it's just gone to A8 on the previous move to deliver a check. So D3, and I'm back in the game, even in theory. Even though I'm bishop down visually, I'm technically better in this position according to Ripka. Black's actually technically better. So B6, I take on C4, and excited by the idea that if he plays Bishop A4, do you know why I was excited here? I'll give you 5 seconds to see. Okay, just Rook A4 would be just winning here, because if takes D2, queening, the Rook can't stop the queen. But he didn't play that. He played Bishop. So in this position, Bishop B5 he played. So after check, he sacks back the bishop now. So we're in a rook and pawn ending. And he was down to about 5 minutes here. And he really messed this up big time. So takes, he played check, and he took on b7. I was expecting a draw now. So d2, I play rook b6. Okay. He lets his b pawn go, fine. But now, you know, he doesn't need to keep his king totally passive. I did play this token restricting move, but it didn't have to be a total disaster for white.